Okay, so the first thing I usually like to get my students to do is go through a bit of a lane matchup. So here you guys were Leona Jin against Tristana Yumi, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about this lane. What's going on through your head?
Just about the matchup or like how we play it.
Bit of both?
Um, well, I think personally just with like a Leona and Jin synergy, I think it's important to um what I wasn't doing. I was a little bit. I'll warn you on two things. Number one, lock screen for me is a bad habit, and I know it is, and I'm really working on getting off of it. I have an alt account that I play on to like practice the lock screen, but like it's a pretty. That's probably one of the biggest bad habits to break in this game.
Right.
Other than flaming your enemy team. But the second thing is I was really tired, so I was trying to do the best I could here. So for me, like when I play against like a with a Jin and then I'm a Leona, I think like my biggest thing is holding as much CC as possible because I think in this situation I chain CC'd a little bit too quickly where I eat onto them and at that moment like they're delayed a little bit so Jin can throw out I don't know actually know what ability that is, but he can throw that ability out to stun
Right.
to change CC them the best, it would be best to hold that Q just a little bit longer,
Hmm.
just before that duration goes out, and then you can stun for a longer CC. And especially onto Yumi too, she takes a little bit of priority on like getting CC'd, so she can't jump back to her target, and then suddenly uh, it's suddenly just a 1v1 at that point.
Right.
Um, Staying in front of Jin to any assassin as well. I know they didn't really have one. Like they had an Elise mid, which was, that was um, a little weird. I'm used to more like an Akali or a Talon,
Hmm.
a Zed. I try to stay like somewhere near the river in situations like that because like any assassin falls on Jin and he's just dead. I mean, there's nothing he can do about it, really.
Right.
And That's that's just about it for the Jin Leona. I think for in like when I think about that, I think that's like the biggest part. And then, obviously staying in front of like a Yumi projectile or um sticking to his hip whenever Tristana jumps on him.
Okay. Great. Yeah, that's a very nice, short, succinct summary of the abilities. So if you're going to take those kind of comparisons, how are you going to open up to play in the first two waves?
Um, how so? What do you mean?
Like when the waves crash in like the first opportunity, because I think both of you guys leashed. How are you going to play the opening into wave one, wave two? Are you going to be aggressive? Are you going to be defensive? How are you going to play it?
With Jin, I think you can afford to play aggressively. At least like so I wanted to say passive aggressively, but that's not the right word. You can. It's like I think it's a little bit in between. Like in that situation, like I read it a little bit better,
Hmm.
than like if I was playing against like maybe like a Draven rather than Tristana because like her passive on killing a minion like allows that level one wave clear. It can be pretty good, but Jin can too. It depends on the ability that he starts. I think his dancing grenade is like it's his E or something. So if he starts that, I know that like the we can get a level two prio pretty easily.
Hmm.
But that's what I look for is just like how fast we're actually clearing it. So um, most of the ADCs and lower elo don't like you to prep minions at all because they don't understand. But I will try my best to try to prep the first wave for a faster level two. About like, you know, I think it's about like 137 or something. Like I would try to like prep the minions right there so that that first wave like gets done a little bit quicker, but it's not quite as pushed up to their tower, so an engage isn't, viable anymore. But
Yep.
then the first two, or just like two of the first melee cannons to, take them out, get that quicker level 2 XP.
Mm-hmm.
They lose the lane prio at that moment. And if they decide to overstep and like challenge it, we hit level 2 first, then we just engage on them. And it's
Right.
specifically the Tristana, because she shouldn't have jump at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm looking for you to be very aggressive and position well. I think you're kind of at that point where ADCs should expect you to prepare CS for them, or to kind of wave manage a little bit as well. So don't be afraid to
Yeah.
do so.
Okay.
In terms of the game, even before the things start, I had a look at this game as well. I really like the kind of decisions that you're trying to make and the intentions you have behind looking where the jungle starts. Um,
Yeah.
what
I
is yeah? What information do you extrapolate from that? Like seeing where the enemy jungle starts.
um well, so the first thing that I look at with any game as a support is because you're a 2v3 is how I look at it at all times. It's I don't know if you're familiar with like Murphy's Law.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, my dog is like freaking out a little bit.
No
But
worries.
I look at it as like the worst case will happen every single game. You get hard camped, or it's a 2v4 where your mid laner's there and your jungler never is. And so when I start every game, I look at we're going to be first gank, right? They're going to look at an opportunity bot lane. So I look at something like if it's a Xin Zhao, I always gank level 2 on Xin Zhao. And so I would look at that. I was like, what side are we on? What's the character? And where do they start? Because, if we invaded, they died, and they're like, shit, I don't want to take my red anymore. They're going to start blue.
Hmm.
And I look at where like that gank is going to happen, and I tend not to, and like as much in this elo anymore, like, but I will ping the other lanes like, hey, they're on their way, like try to give them information because I'm thinking about it.
Right.
But really it's about like where's the pressure going to start,
Yeah.
and that tells my jungler, who may be focusing more on their camps than like where the jungler's going to path, like where's scuttle going to be contested,
Hmm.
where's the first gank going to happen, um what are their timers, like that's going to be big too, because that's first dragon right there. Like by the time like big camp timers are like resetting is about the time that dragon's going to be there. So if I can get like proper vision around that time too, like um over that like that wall just on blue side where you can see blue and Gromp is one of my favorite ones to put down.
Yep.
So you can get the two camps, because they're gonna try to get blue and Gromp and then head dragon or head bot to get a gank. Like that's gold efficiency. So it's all about like getting the timers on that, so we have information around that. I think I can't remember. I think it's like 5 minute mark, or not 5 minute, 7 minute mark when dragon comes up, something like that.
Okay.
So that's my whole thought process on early game jungling.
Yeah, I really like that. And don't the information of where the jungle starts is important not to only yourself but your top lane as well. So don't
Yeah.
underestimate the amount of help you can give your team just by pinging it.
If people think it's toxic, they'll be like, shut the fuck up or something. It just I get it, but I
Yeah.
don't have the mental to be able to hear that. I only have the mental to be able to like uh you know deal with like a little bit of like constructive criticism, like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. You can't handle the dude, shut the
Right.
fuck up. Like, I'm trying to help you.
Yeah. Cool. If both junglers start bot side and make the way towards top, we think about the mid jungle 2v2 when they fight for Scuttle. What time does
Yeah.
Scuttle spawn?
Um, something 15. I think it's 3:15.
Yeah, perfect. So if they're going to be fighting top 2v2 for the Scuttle, who do you think wins between Graves Vagar versus Elise Shyvana?
Graves Vagar
I'd be inclined
against
to agree.
Alicia.
It's
Um, yeah. Sorry, I was actually just talking, speaking out loud to myself, like trying to think what the matchup was.
right.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. Shyvana is like really weak early, and I mean, Elise has a good like early.
Yeah,
She's definitely strong level 2, but not I don't think as strong as Graves and Vagar.
pretty much. So if they're going to be winning the top 2v2, and you're willing
Hmm.
to bet that Shiv starts bot going to top side, and
Hmm.
she might relinquish control of the top scuttle crab and go for the bot. What time could you expect her to be bot side for a gank?
Probably with how quickly that she can move. Um, if she's giving up that first scuttle, I would probably say anywhere between like the 4 minute mark to maybe 4.5, 4:45.
Yeah, perfect. Something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of tricky because it just depends on whether or not they know how to the Shyvana like using her E to auto, because you can pull yourself in front of it really quickly
Yeah.
and get up more autos. So
Yeah, no, exactly. And it also depends on a lot of the game state and what your own jungler does, because your jungler does steal their red. Um,
yeah,
so yeah. So you see
that
how
that
kind of like all that information was just given by your first ward. So
yeah.
great stuff, yeah. Um,
Oh, was that my ward or was that somebody else's?
oh no, that was your jungler's ward actually.
Yeah, yeah. That was the guy that you coached too. That's filthy or uh,
Oh,
pro
that's
gamer
Graves.
Graves. Is yeah, has a different name, but yeah,
Right. I thought I recognized it.
he's got like he's got like 30 accounts.
Wow.
Yeah,
Um,
he just likes to climb.
this kind of word is a bit dangerous. I'd balance the risks and benefits you
Yeah,
gain from that information, and I'd say
yeah.
it's not worth it.
That's what I was hoping to hear from you. And my only thought, well, right there, we can see that she was like pathing back, and that's why I had a feeling. I didn't know if they would have seen the blue ward. I even told Tristan at this point. I think that I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna die here.
Right. Do be careful about those kind of decisions. Like I like the intention, but one word at blue already gives you enough information for your jungler to make a decision off that.
Okay.
So you guys leash, and here we come to the first wave crash between you and the enemy. So you were telling me how Jin's dancing grenade would be able to clear first wave very quickly. In comes the second. How many minions does it take to hit level 2?
It takes nine minions.
Yes. So the next 3 melee ones of the next wave. So your goal in this lane is A, not to get poked out of Yumi before you guys have a chance to engage. Um, and second, kind of keep pressuring on Tristana since they have no form of CC pre level 6.
Hmm.
Those should be your two goals are like in your mind right now. Have you tried experimenting between E start versus Q start?
Yeah, actually, the last two games I've played on Leona, I went E to start, and I personally I like it better. Um I think it's just better to have a gap closer
Mm-hmm.
level 1 over the stun.
Yeah. In a range, double range versus melee, you, it's better to have gap closer. So consider starting that.
Okay.
So what I want to see here is you going for that level 2 and then taking up bush priority as soon as the last minion's about to fall, and then instantly engage on the Tristana if the situation
Okay.
calls for it.
Yeah.
The other thing to also be aware of, and remember it comes back to where the junglers started, is are they going to be around for their level 2 gank as well? And that's the other thing to be aware. Other than that,
Right.
you have free reign to do whatever you want bot. Yeah, so this is perfect. Since they are very close to their turret, it's very hard to do so, but you can trade HP for HP for a good trade, which is what I think you do right here. Yeah.
That was a situation where I feel like I should have held on to my Q for a little bit longer because Yumi was gonna hop out and
Yeah.
get off some autos. I don't think we would have killed, but we could have pressured Yumi really hard there.
Mm-hmm. So what you guys are preparing here, intentionally or unintentionally, is a freeze at their turret, which is going to bounce back to you in about 2 waves. Have you heard of the terms like bounce on 3, bounce on 4, that kind of thing?
No, I haven't, but in our own way, we do, say like, oh, this is gonna push back,
Yeah.
but not. We haven't coined those phrases. No.
Okay. So if we were trying to say, I want the wave state to be in a spot where Graves can come gank when he rotates back bot, we can try to carry out a bounce on wave 4 or 5 so that when he is rotating around bot side to take scuttle, that the wave will be by our tower.
Mm.
How we do that is that we prepare waves like this and kind of crash them into their turret, or you hold it by their turret so that when the next wave comes back from their base, it reinforces here and starts to push back towards us. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, it does.
One of the things that makes supports able to basically manipulate the wave is a minion dematerializer. Do you know of the item?
Yeah, I used I used to run it a lot,
Yeah.
but it just I don't know. It felt like a waste of a secondary, if I'm being honest. But it could have been that I wasn't using it right. So
It could be also if you're playing against a poke heavy kind of matchup that it's better to optimize for cookies instead of DMAT because you have free reign over cannons. So that is
mhm.
perfectly sound logic to not run it in this scenario. But versus other kind of like hook, engage, or kind of like dueling champions, it's good because then you don't have to risk your neck out to try get the minions.
Mm.
On top of that,
That-
the other kind of good rune in the inspiration page to run is also Hex Flash.
yeah, I cannot get Heifer Slash down right. It's something I need to practice a little bit more, I suppose. But it's like chaining that combo. It's so weird.
Yeah, and that's hopefully what we'll be able to sort out in practice tool after these two VODs.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see here, you have the opportunity to take cannon very early or very late.
Hmm.
If you took it earlier, this means the waves would crash into their turret and basically start pushing back earlier towards you. If you held it a bit later, this maintains the freeze right by their turret outside of turret range. Do you see the small difference there?
Yeah.
So that timing
Yeah, I do,
difference,
and I
yeah,
should have
that
taken
timing
advantage.
difference basically dictates when it's going to push back to you. So play around with that in your next couple games.
Okay.
The final thing to be aware of when you're thinking of wave management is how far their minion wave is going or is going to be coming based off of yours. Um,
Okay.
what I wanted to show here was the difference between yours and Jin's positioning. Have you heard of the triangle rule before?
I have, but it's never been explained to me. I've just heard about it.
All right. So basically, it basically says if there is an imaginary triangle between you, your ADC, and also the enemy ADC or support, if you guys are in a parallel line to the enemy ADC and you engage on them, then your ADC can follow up pretty easily.
Okay.
If he's far behind you like this, yeah, it still forms a triangle, but you can see that those two legs of the triangle would be much longer for the ADC to run along with.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that if you're going to engage or kind of make any sort of play, that your ADC is going to be in a position to follow up on the damage.
Yeah.
The good thing about playing with someone like Tristana is her W basically is the gap close if you choose to engage, which is why she pairs very well with Leona or other engaged champions.
Yeah. I definitely stretched it right there.
Yeah, so all good things so far. Do you see what I think you said to your duo in this case? Shyvana's going for bot scuttle and you were pinging it like mad, but your Jin wouldn't move.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's frustrating, it happens, but I love the idea that you're aware of what's happening on the map at all times.
Yeah. I think she took it here, like just barely too.
Yeah.
I
Do
can't
you see
recall.
how kind of when we got the information from our blue that we could ensure that she would be bot side at around 3:30, so we can use that information to say in the future junglers who kind of give up the scuttle top side will be bought around 340, 350, that kind of time frame. All right.
Yeah. It's also like my thought behind that too was like it's gonna be a Shyvana.
Yeah.
So she's gonna want to have that bot scuttle over top if she can get it,
Mm-hmm.
because like Irelia is not really a good early matchup for her to gank. Um, Vigar can be a little bit weird because he's gonna have cage by the time he's gonna cage and probably a level 2 Q by the time she wants to gank.
Yeah.
And it's heavily reliant on Elise hitting her stun, so it's like he's gonna want um, that bot scuttle for drag too. And we had Prio though, so that's more pressure would have been nice, but I don't think it was the end of the world there.
Honestly, I think if your entire team moved for the bot scuttle, she would have been shut down and wouldn't be able to get back into the game.
Yeah, I agree. I can't remember if I said anything about that in our audio, but um, yeah,
We're just pinging
yeah,
and it's not happening.
I
Yeah.
remember that. She had it.
Okay, so if we're playing with the assumption that she is bot side right now, we're kind of in a dangerous spot with the wave pushed up right here.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of backing up a little bit like that because I was like, I wanted to move, um,
Yeah. Oh,
but
the
he wanted
stream.
to. Is it my is my video screwing up?
No, 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 it's fine. I think it's just my computer. Good.
Okay. Yeah, while I was sitting back like that, I don't know if I had pings up yet, but yeah, right there. That's the ideal situation for me against a Yumi, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Just held on to it a little bit longer.
Yeah. If you knew that Yumi usually pops out to block Jin W, you can use that and kind of abuse that information and go for a kill on her whenever she pops out, basically.
Yeah,
It's a shame the Jin
that force.
backed off, though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that fourth shot that he had though was like beautiful timing. I remember being like,
Yeah.
the indoor that right there that kind of tilted me a little bit, but I was very happy the um with how we played that engage.
Mm.
I
My
think I
question
don't
to
know.
you is
Mhm.
should we have even been playing that aggressive if we knew Shyvana was bot side?
Your audio is really screwed up now.
Oh, sorry, am I back?
Sorry, can you repeat that? It went super slow and robot-y.
Oh, should you be playing that aggressive or looking for engages if you knew Shiv was bot side?
No, we definitely shouldn't have. Um, I yeah, it was. I think my fingers fingers moved without me thinking about it.
Yeah, that
I saw a good opportunity and I was like,
one of the other things to also consider, um, with your itemization against a double poke lane is instead of going the cloth armor, going refill and a control ward. The utility it brings you in this lane is a lot greater than a cloth armor.
a refill.
Yeah,
Why a refill?
a
It
refill
just make
allows you. Sorry, a refill allows you to prevent against a lot of the poke that. Wait, let me just pause it. Prevents a lot of the Yumi poke and basically keeps you healthy and allows you to engage.
okay without constantly having to buy potions every back.
Yes, absolutely. It's ideal for any sort of engage support when you're playing against heavy poke. Think Zerath, think Karma, think Brand. It just
Okay.
makes you less likely to be forced out of lane before you actually engage.
Okay.
Slightly uh,
Yeah.
overzealous, but that's fine.
Yeah. I think this happens for the next like 4 or 5 minutes. There's a big turning point in this game. I remember.
Yeah. The perfect
So
example there. Refill and control ward better than two pots and control ward.
yeah. How many pots should you buy during laning typically? Is it like one or is it two? I mean, I know it
Zero.
depends on the matchup. Oh, don't buy any
No.
pots.
Pots are
I have
kind
a
of like if you're buying pots, it feels to me personally as a player, um, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position to get poked out. And therefore you need to waste money on buying pots.
okay.
If you're playing the lane correctly, there shouldn't exactly be too many opportunities where they're able to lane kingdom you and force you back to base that early.
Okay. Well, is that? I mean, just like like if I'm going against like a brand Ezreal,
Mm-hmm.
like the refillable would be good, but um any other lane like that's not poke heavy and like we have an advantage, you say like no pots at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering about that.
Pots themselves are kind of just like a gold sink. Um, and even if you're playing into if you're playing a melee into melee matchup, like one that's very heavy in fighting and has lots of good all-in potential, chances are you guys both will be either one of you dead or one of you low health at the end of the trade. Having that kind of sustain, yes, it might be beneficial, but then it also stops your later game power spike. You
Hmm.
might be delaying vision. You might be delaying kind of like getting ahead in other item components.
Yeah, because
So
that would
I'd rather you invest in something like um, a refillable if you feel like you actually need it. But chances are I wouldn't get it that much.
okay. We'll do that. Keep that in
Yeah.
mind. I can't remember if I live here or not. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Quite a weird trade to be honest. I'm surprised you guys actually managed to live that.
Yeah, they played that a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I think Tristana took the don't focus support quite literally.
Yeah.
There's
Nice E.
I
Really
know a
nice
lot of
E predict.
ADC.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Then you
yeah.
take the kill.
Yeah. So Graves has this thing whenever we duo, especially when we were doing we were trying to do bot lane. He doesn't like ADC as much. He thinks it's a very volatile role in this meta, but he calls it the patented last hit because on like I play like, empowered auto melee supports, so like
Right.
Nautilus, Thresh, and Leona, and I have a bad habit of like just trying to kill secure and accidentally taking the kill. He used to get so mad.
It seems, I mean, it's not a singular occurrence. It happens over the two VODs quite a few times, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know. No, that's why he said it's the patented because it happens a lot. So,
Right.
but I get nervous and I get like, when my abilities come up during an engage, I'm like I need to use them, and that's a part of my brain I need to just slow down.
Yeah.
And one last night when we were doing that was actually a I was I was telling him, I was like, dude, he's like, you happy I held my last auto on purpose. I didn't take it. He was like, yeah, I'm proud of you.
Nice.
So with my Moby boots, the idea is to, oh yeah, we poke them out really hard here.
Yep. Right.
Is to roam a lot more, but I
Mm-hmm.
find myself like not managing the wave well enough to actually get roams off, and I think that's one big part of my uh, supporting that I need to improve on. Um, there wasn't many opportunities here, and like Elise is a little bit more difficult one to gank, but that's why I wanted to focus on like some of the wave management a little bit like early to mid game.
Yep.
Because I feel like I like as Leona, like I see some supports that like dominate my lane and then like roam, which they're 1 in 50 in this elo, but like I strive to be that where I can help my ADC manage the lane so well that I can get a good roam off, and then suddenly, mid's losing CS because I'm present.
So you want to be able to put your wave in a favorable position, which allows you to roam. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if we can find an opportunity where we can talk about that while we're going through laning phase as well. Um,
Even if it's on the next one, because I don't think this one's a very good opportunity because uh we had a lot of pressure in this lane after the I think this is the point where we had a lot of pressure. Like Tristana went top.
yeah. In this scenario, it's going to be Shiv's going to be up for her bot side, and in this scenario, Jin should probably back instead of pushing for a
Yes.
turret plate.
Yeah. That's that turret plate greed.
Yeah. This scenario is perfect for you to go mid lane.
Yeah,
If
that's what
yeah, if he doesn't back.
yeah, they were fighting on that top side.
Yeah.
So I don't know what my thought on it was, but I think I was a little uncertain because of where they were positioned. I was waiting for Shyvana.
Yeah, good call. Be a living ward. And nice kill. Yes. And I think your ult was good here. Yep. Your turn was a bit slow. That's all right.
Yeah, I didn't see that TP quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think we get Yumi here too.
So
And I do remember being very
two
hyped
small two
about that
small
map.
optimizations from me in this play. Starting off with the Yorick EQ, that was really good. Perfect use of fogging there, to kind of like make the enemy unaware of your position. Your ult was perfect. Just turn immediately when you see that. When
Okay.
Veigar puts up his cage, watch how you have enough time to simply walk up to them and Q and follow with E if they flash, right?
Yeah.
right here. You have time to basically walk around and queue them. Like don't be afraid to just walk up and queue, because Q
Oh,
extends your auto range by about like 50, and your E is basically a catch tool after they've tried to escape. So don't use your gap close tool
wait,
prematurely.
my if I Q, it increases my E's range.
Your auto's range. Your auto range.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so absolutely fantastic. All right, you're put into this position right now where you guys can push the wave, you guys can go for bot Drake. What's going on through your head right now in this mid game, and what can you do?
Um, so right here, ideally, I I would have liked to have my item, my support
Right.
item upgraded, um, so I could get some like deeper vision on the drag, um, like the blue side jungle, so that like right there, I would have ideally put one in the blue bush and then maybe like one in pixel or in the entry to their blue side from like closer to the mid lane, just so we had vision on Shyvana trying to come contest drag. Um, and then looking at drag, just denying Shyvana all the dragons is a huge thing for mid to late game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no wards and low on mana, so I am useless. So I'm pretty much forced to back. But I just wanted to walk Graves into the jungle to counter jungle because that's what he wanted to do. And just kind of keep him as a bodyguard.
You're telling me you want to be a bodyguard with no mana.
Uh, yeah.
It's tough being a cannon minion when you're standing next to Graves.
Yeah, that was just my thought. It wasn't not saying it was a good one.
Yeah, the intention is there. Absolutely fabulous. In terms of optimizing our strategy here, shove the wave with Jin, get your support item instantly back. You won't be in time for the Drake spawning, but neither will
Yeah,
Shiv because she's just recalling from top side as well. So you
yeah,
guys should match respawn timers in that. Sorry, recall timers in that you'll both be there for the Drake fight.
gotcha. Okay.
You can let Graves do whatever he wants, and remember you have Moby boots, so you can move around the map a lot quicker than most other people.
Yeah. I think like one thing I need to do in my duo with him, this is just like personal. When he's strong, he does overplay a little bit, and he knows that. Um, I tell him that quite a bit. There's the pot. It's
There's
just
the pot.
by the way, is two controls here okay?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
at 11 controls as I can at all points in time, and I know a lot of people will be totally okay with that, but I just wanted to be sure as far as like
Hmm.
cost efficiency.
As long as you're
Um,
not
I
wasting
get a little bit nervous
controllers.
when I duo with him sometimes and he gets strong.
Yeah.
What would be a situation to waste one?
It would be
Like to
to put
clear
it
like
in a
vision in
place
an
where you
unimportant area?
cannot defend it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Here is an example where you try to pull the wave to kind of freeze it for your turret. Um, I think,
I think I get poked out, I think.
yeah, the natural way to do this is kind of just pull it up a turret right here into this channel.
Yeah. Um, so this was a thought, and this I actually remember this is what I wanted to talk to you about. Normally I do pull it up like that into that little alcove, but I for some reason on like Tristana's like that spot's like really bad um for me to pull into sometimes because like if Tristana was any better or any more confident in this lane, she would have just jumped on me right
Hmm.
there, and like I would have had to like either flash away or walk around, all
Yeah.
just to save a wave. And so that's what I wanted to ask you because that's I'm pretty sure, like, I can't remember if that's exactly what I was thinking at that point in time, but on reviewing it, like, I think that was kind of like my thought process is like I was for just saving a wave. So what do you think about that? You there? Can you hear me? Yeah, it's back. It's like,
Yeah, so that wave scenario, that's only specific to Tristana. Any other ADC, I'd be perfectly fine with you trying to pull the wave up like that.
okay. Yeah, that's why I didn't want to right there. I was scared,
Yeah,
and I thought that maybe it was just best to lose a few minions and maybe just slow the bounce back.
yeah. And remember, like, there's no objectives to fight for right now. Drake's just killed,
Hmm.
and you guys have free reign bot side.
Yeah. A shiv.
Considering Graves' bot, they're playing very far up, so this is definitely a mistake on their part.
Yeah, they have no vision.
Really good ult flash Q. Yeah, perfect. Absolutely ideal. So this is what I talked about with the slight increase in your auto range is just out of there, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Did he tilt for this under tower? I can't remember.
Nah. We don't greed. We don't greed for kills here.
We're not above it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Okay, before we walk into this scenario, I want you to tell me how you're going to play this with the hindsight of analysis right now.
So with Vagar, I don't. He didn't use any abilities. I don't think right there yet. I think he was walking fresh to the fight. It's pretty healthy. Um, he's got a level advantage on Shyvana. So I would honestly probably try to put Prio onto Shyvana, um, even in dragon form here, because she's underleveled, and we can immediately put pressure onto Elise. She has a pretty like when she uses all of her abilities for that moment, unless she's in spider form, it takes a while for them to rotate back and like for her to like actually do full combo damage. So that's why I wanted to get Siobhan out of the way because she's got that AoE. Um, and you know, Elise is like a single target, so ideally move in on Shyvana. Um,
Okay.
pop my W like right about now probably, and then like is that I think he caged right there, unless that's Shyvana's E.
That is Shivanzi. Yeah.
Okay. Um, honestly, probably hold my E a little bit. I don't remember what I did here, but ideally I would hold my E just a little bit longer, walk up, Q the Shyvana. But my W will pop at that point, probably after shock, and then I can hold my E for at least when she tries to jump on a wall or jump on Jin or Vagar, I can just move right in on her.
Right.
But again, I can
I'd take it even
probably.
a step further. The first thing I'd do is make sure I'm panned over to the fight so I can actually see what abilities have been used.
Oh,
So
with the lock screen.
yeah. So
Yeah,
if I was
yeah,
here, I'd be watching the fight right now. Because Elisa's cocoon is something like a 20 CDR cooldown when it's
yeah,
off. So if she doesn't have that, then she can't burst you reliably. And I know that I can walk straight into that fight and go, "Hey, I'm here. I'm gonna stun," and then use my full rotation on one of them while my team backs me up. Right.
yeah.
So do you see what I mean? We weren't
Yeah.
aware or we weren't anticipating that they could burst us within that instant.
Yeah.
So making sure that we keep in mind what are the biggest dangerous abilities to us and then kind of play around that.
Okay.
League itself is a lot of anticipation. I'll be frank with you. My response time is about that of an old man. Um,
Okay.
um, so I find it very hard to basically react quickly to situations. But when I can anticipate them, when I know, okay, um, Shyvana's gonna E, and that's gonna be an AOE effect, so I'm gonna maintain my range. I know Elisa's gonna try Cocoon, so I will juke prematurely. That kind of idea.
Yeah.
You start developing a sixth sense, if you will, like a spidey sense.
Right.
And that's what most supports should aim to develop. Um,
Okay. Prediction.
yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
supports itself, we're not really a flashy role, are we? We're more of like map centric kind of plays, that kind of idea.
Yeah. I mean, I like being flashy, but I leave that for Graves.
Yeah,
I was way too close to that tower. Realized that I fucked that up.
considering you were full health when you walked to lane,
Hmm.
and kind of now we're a third health without having done anything.
Yeah.
That seems kind of like something's gone wrong there, hasn't there?
Yeah, it was me being dumb. I got arrogant, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Um Yumi popped out and I was like I was expecting her to take turret aggro, I think. Um but yeah, no, that was definitely dumb. I don't think there's any excuse I can make for that one.
hindsight's 2020. If we know our limits, that we don't actually have enough damage to kill them in one burst, then just bide your patience.
Yeah. I hate the range on that Tristana bomb too. It's so stupid.
Yeah, it doubles when it's on turrets.
Yeah.
So imagine if we had ults here and Jin was ready to follow up. How good would that be?
I
One of the other habits I want to see. Oh wait, no, you do it. You clear it. You clear these wards. Perfect.
Sorry, the audio and the video cut out there for like 15-20 seconds.
Oh, sorry.
No,
When
that's
you're
good.
sweeping through the bushes to clear those wards, I think it's great because it removes the possibility of them TPing on you from behind.
Yeah. Yeah. How how do you feel about um again, I know a lot of like everything what I'm going to ask is situational.
Yeah,
Especially as support and warding especially I think is the biggest situational in league, but how do you feel about like lane control awards? Like
absolutely
obviously
crucial when you're playing an engaged support.
so like in those three bushes putting a control in one of them.
It's really good if you are very far ahead in that they cannot fight you. Because the
Yeah.
pressure you generate by being in bush with your abilities ready to go is absolutely massive. So
And
you want to use that to your advantage to make the enemies be afraid to even step up to CS. If it's more even, then the priority
yeah.
for you is to
So
provide a good
one
TP ward.
yeah. The can we pause here real quick
Yeah, sure.
for two things?
Yeah.
So about those control words, is it the I want to ask about the control words, but also something I did right there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the so like you were talking about kind of like the opportunity cost of of control wards, how you never a bad control ward is one that you're gonna lose, that you can't contest.
Yeah.
So you would say like the third bush up closest to their tower is usually not a good one to put a control in if you can't pressure them off of it.
Yes.
Okay, but the second bush would be okay on the bottom half of that, on like the bottom half of the bush that's closer to you guys, or like to our tower.
Yeah. Why would you need a control ward in the second bush?
In case it's warded. That's the only thing.
If you were playing
Or what?
against a champion with stealth like Twitch or Akshan, then yeah, maybe. But other than sweeping through it yourself with a sweeper, or just waiting in bush and first combo clearing it with Leona, you shouldn't have any wards in the second bush that you can't clear.
Okay, so first bush then,
Yeah,
first bush control. Okay, that's where I wanted to establish like what if I place one, which one should it be,
yeah.
and should I place that one farther back towards us, like to our tower, or is that something I can like pretty comfortably move around if I need like it towards like that little, I don't know, towards the alcove, like that little dip to get some vision on the alcove, or where should I put it in that bush?
I think just towards yourself, because even if it was further up in towards them, it still provides the same amount of vision.
Okay.
But it's almost like arguing pedantics, right?
Yeah, I was just curious like your position on it because it's something that I want to do, but like I don't have enough time in my day to like think about the tiny stuff like that. It's not my job, but
Yeah.
um so the second thing is like where I warded just now before I was backing. I'm trying to use my wards before I back. Drag's coming up. So those are like two popular spots for me to place my wards. And where the blue bush is at,
Yeah.
normally if I had full wards, I would actually pull that ward down towards that blast cone in their tri bush
Right.
to get more vision over that direction. And then I would put a ward up by the far right side towards lane on that blue bush so that it provides more vision towards like that four-way stop, I guess you could call it. Is that like good, or like what do you recommend for warding prior to dragon?
Considering that you, well, your wards for Drake should basically be able to show which way the enemies are coming from.
Right.
So if you covered the crossroads up here, that's great, but it doesn't tell you the immediate danger of who's going to be in this bush or the tri bush near to their turret. So Drake control should always be centered around where you want to fight.
Okay.
Deeper wards, like the ones up in their jungle, up in the banana brush, are more for jungle tracking and creating picks in the mid to late game.
Okay.
Do you see the difference there?
I do. Yeah. It's, what do you want to control at what time, basically.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
So, and I know it would be silly to anybody who's not a support main, but the and I mostly want to ask it if I'm right in this thought process.
mhm.
You only have like three wards on your level 2 support item, and then four on your level 3 support item. But even placing one ward improperly, or like just using an extra ward, like that can be crucial for the whole part of the game. Am I right in that thought
Yes.
process? Okay.
Mm.
Because, and this is what I want to ask, like, and this is like the very detailed part. So ideally, like when on this screen, what we're looking at, the ward that I have right there, what would you call that bush right there that I have warded at the moment?
This one.
That, yeah, what would you call that?
I don't have a name for it, but
Yeah,
uh,
well, whatever. So that bush, like in like having reviewed it and thinking about like where I ward that bush and then the bush that I'm walking to right now should probably be the only two that I should ward because like we know Siobhan is dead. We have vision on Tristana, so we know she'd walk through the bush I've warded. And
Hmm.
if and uh with Graves and Vagar right there, like we're not gonna be pressured from like the mid lane bush, and we know Elise would come from there. So that's okay for me just to ward those two right there. Even if I did have three wards, I shouldn't waste a whole nother one right now.
Considering that you're gonna back within like the next 20 seconds, yeah, I think that's good optimum ward coverage.
Okay. Because the other option I see some junglers do is to ward that pixel. In this situation, they will ward the pixel.
It doesn't give you enough information, or it doesn't give you the confidence to be able to walk into river knowing that there's no enemies nearby if it was in pixel.
Yeah. I
Okay,
don't think we
what's
saved this
going on
tower.
through? Sorry, what?
I don't think we saved this tower.
No, but if they
Oh,
overextend for it, you guys could make a pick onto them.
yeah. My thoughts right now, like walking into this,
Yeah.
lane pressure. Vagar's going to get his lane pressure. We have vision on Shyvana now, but we didn't before. So just getting a little bit of lane pressure, which we did not end up getting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and right now, like in game, my mind is get that. That's where I'm talking about. That's where I like to ward is that little that part of that bush. So it provides more towards like the blue side towards the lane, more vision on the blue side towards the lane than it does like I feel like I'm wasting it if I put it up top because we're hitting a wall part of the vision, so there's no more vision to be had over there.
Yeah.
Um, establish warding as quickly as possible is what's happening in my mind because they did just clear it. Uh, they probably should have cleared more, but they didn't. And get that ward down so we have vision and then get a control in the pit so that we deny vision there is what goes through my head in this situation.
My question to you is if you're if you're looking for actual Drake control in the moments leading up to Drake, but you don't have enough time, how could you optimize wording a bit better without getting picked?
Just ward over the wall.
Yeah. So even though you might be sacrificing a bit of a better ward, you're still getting a bit of vision control that will be needed for the upcoming fight.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Also, you kind of saw someone with your sweeper over the wall right here.
Shyvana, I think.
Yeah, that does look like a Shyvana shadow.
Yeah.
One of the habits that I'm gonna come to talk about for the mid to late game as well is that we sacrifice or no or when we're going for a push or making for a movement into the enemy jungle, we don't want to sacrifice ourselves for vision and get picked before the play happens. That's
Yeah.
one of the habits that I saw happening throughout the videos.
Yeah.
So same
Well,
thing here. Don't sacrifice yourself to just try to grab a bit more vision.
yeah. Which I yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I remember now. I remember Graves was a little mad at me for this. I definitely I will be conscientious of that going forward, and I do know that I do tend to put warding on a high pedestal as a support, so I need to definitely focus more on the opportunity cost of warding, and at ask myself at what cost at this
Yeah.
point in time,
Yeah.
you know. So I'll focus on that going forward. Um, oh, we're waiting on something else to happen. In what Matt, I really want to go like Aegis of Legion, or sorry, Sunfire Aegis sometimes. Uh, 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 is there a matchup where that like works, or is Locket pretty much like gonna be the?
Uh, isn't Sunfire Aegis much more expensive than Locket?
I don't, I don't know.
Off the
I just
top
like.
of my head, I think it is by like 300 gold, but I could be wrong.
It's not
Uh,
worth it at all.
no, I think it delays your mythic item by quite a fair bit, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't build it.
Okay.
Also, the AoE shield is just so good.
Yeah, it really is. It can, especially if you're ahead. If you
Yeah,
play that right in your head, it denies everything.
yeah, really goody, great stuff. You didn't have to ult for the Yumi, but you know.
Because they would have had a hard time. I don't I actually we don't know where Shyvana's at, so I probably could have just let that go
Yeah,
because she's useless and she can hop onto him. But I don't know.
yeah.
I think I can just write that one off as a complete fuck up.
All good.
And these wards are okay too around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good. Unfortunate that she stole that, but
Yeah, this was a sloppy game, but that's why I wanted it because like there was some good, there was some bad.
yeah. Veigar damage is insane.
Yeah, he was definitely popping them. So can we talk itemization here?
Uh, let's leave that. Let's leave that to after this VOD finishes.
Okay.
What I want to take a look at is your mid game decision and how you prepare for objectives. Because I know you wanted to talk about how to pick the best kind of late game engages, even though you have information on the map.
Yeah.
Um, so here's a really good example of where we should be preparing for versus where we are currently. So if you look on the map, what's spawning?
Baron.
Right, and how can we ensure that we have good information around there?
Uh, being present and warding.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much. So
yeah.
you and Jin should be in the mid lane and potentially biding your time, shoving waves, clearing minions, and kind of like waiting for a pick to happen because you already have really good vision control around the enemy jungle. So as long as you play around that, that should be what you're looking for. I think Veigar has TP, so he should be able to join any sort of fights and is happy in the side lane.
Yeah.
So like this kind of vision you're providing right here towards bot side is A, risky, and B,
Yeah.
also pretty low value for your team right now.
I just sacrificed vision for Baron for that one.
Yeah. Imagine if we had Hex Slash. Imagine if Shyvana wasn't here and you went over the wall right now. How good would that be?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. I really
You're
love I
gonna.
really love how you have restraint here and you don't just engage straight off the bat by yourself. Like this is perfectly fine. If you know that Shyvana's gonna flow file this way, the best thing you can do while she's stunned is prepare to cut off that avenue of escape for her instead of hovering
Yeah.
around her and auto attacking.
Yeah. I should have predicted that better.
The only way Elise could have gotten out was if Irelia provided her an avenue of escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
um, uh, I don't know if you saw, but I accidentally queued the cannon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, instead of I think she would have gotten out anyways. I think that's why I ended up queuing it because
Okay.
she jumped. But
Yeah.
this is I remember getting upset about this. This often happens to me as support because I'm the only one who like really sees it
Yeah.
when somebody's splitting, and it's just like not my responsibility to go at that alone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. Good stuff from everywhere. Yeah, and I think you guys just end the game off with the next push, right?
Yeah. I do realize I wasted my E there to help wave clear.
Yeah. Let me just go for Baron. Perfect. Really good pick onto the Yorick, and then we just push for the finish.
Yeah.
Great. I think here's a really good example of us trying to set up for the play, but having the potential to get picked. Um, so if I remember correctly, you walk towards bot side jungle on their side to try get some vision in this instance, or maybe top side. I can't remember where. Right now.
Yeah.
So this kind of pathing by you is pretty risky if any of them were in the jungle as well.
Yeah.
You spot Shyvana. Yeah, so just be a bit careful about trying to make movements before the play has even started. I think this is the game winning fight right here. Yep, perfect. And then you flash Q. Yep, nice. Not sure why you locketed there, but
Walked the Yumi.
yeah, the Yumi Q.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
At this point, I think I got another big. It was another big head moment. I think that whole thing was because we were so strong,
Yeah.
and I knew we were gonna win, which is silly, but because this is plat, like there's still people who aspire to be diamond, so they are getting coachings and stuff, so they're not gonna give up and
Yeah.
know better.
All right, and that's the end of the first game. So I think the main takeaways from me when watching this game is first, make sure in laning phase that we're able to formulate a plan based off of the matchup. Don't be afraid to say, hey, we have the aggressive level 2, so we should basically go in for that. We should be aggressive with that. And kind of following that, we learned how to extrapolate the information from our wards to kind of dictate when the jungler might be bot lane again, when they
Yep.
might gank. In the mid to late game, we're going to come into a little bit of a framework of how to choose where to be and how to set up vision as well. Does that all make sense?
Okay.
Are you happy with that so far?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And you also wanted to talk about itemization, is that right?
Yeah.
So what was your questions?
Um, I'll just probably ask them in like rather than this specific matchup, just like in general, like uh, uh what sort of champions like itemization is good into like Knight's Vow. I do love Knight's Vow. I love the idea of the item to be able to like mitigate damage to me as a tanky support.
Hmm.
Um, I do realize that Knight's Vow is another item where it's like if you're ahead and you have like an item lead on them, like it's definitely going to be at an advantage because you're mitigating that damage from the your partner, whoever it is. So if you have an item lead, like let's say I have like a ruby crystal or a kindle gem or a giant's belt over the enemy support, that's good because I can tank that much more damage from my ADC. But um, you know, I understand that if you're behind, you know, you're pretty much just killing yourself in the fight for
Hmm.
no avail. Um, but like, what's in what situations, like against what matchups is like a Knight's Vow better over like a Zeke's Convergence or a Redemption?
Think of it this way. If the enemies are a bigger threat to your ADC, then you can be a bigger threat to them. Then it will be a good idea to go Knight's Vow.
Okay.
It's the same thing with your summoner spells. If you're against three dive the backline kind of champions, think Irelia, think LeBlanc, jungle maybe like Evelyn, then I would definitely opt for exhaust every single game over ignite
Hmm.
because that's what's going to save my ADC, not the health that I'm going to mitigate from Knight's Vow. Although it still is a good
Oh.
item to build in that scenario.
So also like a Kha'Zix or a um can be a Kane
Yeah,
um
absolutely,
Talon.
absolutely.
Okay. I did okay, that's good. I'm sorry, I'm writing stuff down at the same time, so if I stop.
One of the other items that doesn't get mentioned a lot but is very powerful is Anathema's Chains if there's a very fed enemy on the enemy team.
Yeah. That one I've been curious about that because I don't see it in like a lot of like pro builds
Yeah.
or you know like build comps.
It's good when you need the HP component and they don't have a percentage damage spell on the other team. Good. In terms of other sort of itemization for Leona specifically, let me try to think. I'd also think about getting a stopwatch if that timing, if you have the spare gold and the next team fight will be big, i.e., you're fighting for Baron, you're fighting for Soul, it's a game deciding match, a game
Yeah.
deciding fight. Then you can use stopwatch to your advantage to buy yourself time if you're picked, or survive and engage from the enemy team if they're coming in for an all in. Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Shall
Good
we
stuff.
take a quick 5 minute break before the next VOD? Grab
Yep,
some
that's
water?
fine. Go.
Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Go get some water.
All right, we'll reconvene in 5 minutes then.
Alrighty. Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, yes, hello. All refreshed and ready to go.
Yep. Stretching my legs
Good.
a little bit.
Do you think you could try turn up the sensitivity a bit more? I'm having a bit of trouble hearing you sometimes.
Yeah, let me see here real quick.
Maybe in your Discord settings, do you know the setting to automatically determine input sensitivity?
Yeah, I did have that on, and then I turned it off since it was having trouble reading it.
Ah,
I can go back to it now. All right. How's this?
still a bit quiet.
Yeah, I just turned it back on, so it's not. I'm not really sure what's happening. Let's see. Yeah. Being dumb, I can't find how to get my microphone. Settings. Yeah, I can't find the settings for it right now.
Can you not turn up the sensitivity to full?
I'm sorry, what was that?
In like the voice and video setting, if you turn off the automatically determine input sensitivity, there's like a slider that allows you to drag it much.
Yeah, I've got it to.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. That doesn't decrease the thing. It should be under input volume at the top.
Put volume. Yeah, it's at 100%.
Ah. All
Is
right,
is
no
this
worries
any
then.
better though?
Nah, no worries. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, input device. Yeah, my input's at 100%.
Yeah, no worries. I'm just gonna have to turn up my ears a bit, I guess.
Sorry about that. I'll try to figure it out when we're done here.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. So this game, you and Senna versus Corky and Nami.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing as previous game where it's double ranged versus melee and ranged. So
Yeah.
in terms of itemization, we already talked about it. We could go refillable to prevent the poke, and we're looking for good all-in opportunities. That's basically what I want to see.
Okay.
Although that being said, you and Senna are nowhere as strong as them in levels 3, I think, for trading.
Hmm.
At least not
Yeah.
yet. Yeah.
Nami, if she can avoid like the engage, she's like she'll punish the crap out of you.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
like wins a lot of the trades. Like she just makes anybody trade way better,
yeah.
and she can do it safely. That's as far as enchanters goes. Like I'm a Nami main.
Right. I love that. I love to hear it. Nami is such a good champ.
I love her so much, but right now she's just so in such a weird spot.
Oh,
Yeah, I
unfortunate.
know. I know.
Yeah. I was gonna talk to you and practice to about keybinds as well. Not having to manually click it.
Oh, you talking about quick cast?
No, to level up abilities.
Oh yeah, I clicked the ability myself, didn't I?
Yeah, when you're leveling up from the bottom toolbar, if you keybind it to something, then you won't have to move your mouse down.
Yeah, I usually just hit like control, and then the ability. But I don't know what was happening. These games were back to back, so
Right.
I was yeah. This is This is a little rough.
Surprised you guys got
Um,
away with that.
yeah,
Um, I think it ends up being a 2 for 1 if I remember correctly.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's worried that he's not going to get Corky here. He gets
Yeah.
Corky.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, if you'd actually notice, like, there's a lot of parts in this game where I will manually click my ability to level it up, and then I'll keybind it. I don't know what was happening with me. Like my mind was somewhere else. And I'm learning these habits. I'm trying to get better at like small things, saving myself time and energy, and
Yeah.
keeping my hands free. So it's a just something to make a habit.
Absolutely. Is it a good idea to hold the freeze here?
No, because we want it to bounce.
Yeah, ideally so. Really good engage onto Nami here. I think it ends up becoming you get a double kill here.
Yeah. Not not
Is this kill secured? Tell me, is this kill secured?
It's secured right now without me doing shit.
And you walk up and just bop him.
I know, dude. Graves he was so mad. Uh, I can't remember the audio, but it was something like it was like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. He's like, it's that patented last hit. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, my mind was somewhere else right now. I don't know what was happening.
Okay, new wave. You just got double kill. What's the wave management strategy?
Hard push into tower.
Hard push. Are we gonna
It's
try greed for a turret plate, or are we gonna reset?
they if they just died one plate and back, but like honestly, like we don't know where Zach is at, so like I mean, I would say just back. Like I got a double kill, so put the gold on the map as quickly as possible.
Yeah. So you want to. I think that's one of the concepts a lot of people don't recognize. Is that they should instantly back as soon as they get the wave management strategies, even if they're in like the middle of the lane. Because if they're gonna sacrifice minions to come stop your back if you're recalling here,
Mhm.
they only have it's only their loss basically. You do lose a bit
Yeah.
of tempo, but that's okay in the grander scheme of things.
Right.
So after you do this, you should just basically instantly recall and bush
Okay.
instead of kind of wasting this kind of back and forth movement from you right here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely indecisive.
it could mean the difference between roaming mid after this with Mobies and getting a kill onto Zed, um, or something else. So I would have gone refill there.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely I'm very happy by that piece of information you gave me because I think it's gonna change my because like right when you said it, like it's I forgot exactly what phrase you coined, but like it's a gold sink, I think is what you said.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like now from like like, oh, 2 3 waves go by, and by the time I go to buy again, from buying, if I had bought like these pots right now, that's 100 gold, and then if I buy them on the next pack, that's 200.
yeah,
That could be the difference between like a control ward and like that much more like pressure for the objective to maybe could be a cloth armor,
yeah,
or an extra cloth armor or a ruby crystal or something like that.
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely happy you gave me that advice.
I want to give you another, how do you say, a behavior thing you can also exploit. 90% of the time, maybe even 95, people will greed for cannons.
Hmm.
So if you can set yourself up in a position where you can take advantage of that, that is like the optimum scenario for you. So in this case, we have a wave right here. Your mid laner and jungle are coming down. So you want to delay taking this cannon as long as you can so that your own cannon on your side forces Corki to step up and you can engage based off of that.
Okay.
So by pushing it right here, you've given them a bit of leeway that they can move around more. And even though Corky will step up to get his cannon, it could have been played better. I think he does come up to grab it in just a bit. Maybe right here. So you see how he's walking up? You should already be standing right next to this minion ready to E. You should
Yeah.
be anticipating that 100% of the time.
Okay.
Your E barely misses. If we were right next to the cannon minion there, that's the pressure I want to see. You want to
Yeah.
make the enemy ADC, feel like he has to be looking for where you are every single moment of the game. That is what playing an engaged support means.
Okay.
Why is this dragon a good time to play? Good time to try for it.
Zed is dead, and we have a control. Um, good. We have a decent like bot prio. Um, I th I think Mordekaiser's TP is down as well. I think. I can't remember. Um, but also like we have like the vision control in the pit and over in the try.
Okay, and what makes it a bad time to take Drake?
No vision on Zac.
Yeah,
And and
that's
uh
basically the only negative.
and Senna's not with us for the DPS.
Also, you know that Zac has just flashed, so if he commits to this, he will be also losing the part of the jungle that Graves will exploit.
Yes.
So the chances are, or the outcomes, is that he's either going to come and lose a lot from his jungle, or he's not going to come and you guys are going to get first Drake.
Yeah.
Chances are he's not going to come.
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what another coach I sat on in on Graves coaching, and that's what he explained to me was that as bot lane, like first Drake is very rarely priority
Yeah.
for the ADC to go for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I equate that very similarly to jungle as well. Like we obviously had the advantage here, and
Yep.
um, I told him that I was like, "Hey, we're good to do this." So he's like, "Okay."
Mm-hmm. I also remember in the audio you were telling your jungler that you're just going to break the shield on this. There's no
Yeah, it
need
was
for it
dumb.
because Graves autos automatically break the shield.
I think he said that too.
Oh.
Yeah, right after that, he was like I think it was like maybe like 10 seconds after he was just like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Like my auto does it." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about it."
Yeah.
I don't play Graves and like but I know what he does, pretty familiar with what he does. Like I
Mm-hmm.
played him a few times, but just never played him jungle like that.
Fair. Good.
I'm trying to keep that triangle the
Yes.
best I can, like just stay vertical there.
Absolutely. You know, Corky Q also reveals you for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was looking at like my phone for a second when didn't realize that they had seen me. I think you can kind of see like the moment where I was like, "Oh shit, they have vision hit me in the bush."
Yeah. Good. So, like, right now, what are you thinking in terms of just a lane?
Uh, well, right there, I was upset that Senna had exposed herself, but we got the. Let's not talk about that.
Let's look at it again.
Yeah, she exposed herself a little bit too heavily right there, trying to trade. Um, yeah, and I had like backed up, and she stayed, like doing her thing.
Right.
Um, um, Probably dumb of me to be over there in hindsight, but yeah, that right there, I think in the audio, I was like something like, "Wow, he does damage like that." That one just did. They didn't even have sheen. Um, the she drew that minion aggro, and um it was just bad because their wave is just a little bit bigger, even though like those are pretty low.
Yeah, yeah.
What I would have like liked to see from her in that moment though, which is uh what I was kind of expecting, was her to thin it out with her, I think it's her Q.
Hmm.
Um and then she could have not only like hit the minions, thinned out the wave, but probably gotten off a little bit of poke on them if she had positioned herself more towards me, which is what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting her to do that. So,
Right. Okay.
um, sorry, you asked me about like what I think about this state of the lane right now.
Yeah.
Um, uh, getting getting the next cannon, for me would be pretty big. I don't think it was on this one, but I wanted to finish my support item to start prioritizing vision, um, for the river. Um, um, and getting off that back just in time for Graves to rotate to his blue side and maybe get off a gank.
Yeah.
So was hoping, I think in the situation right here it was to push this wave into tower, get off a back, um, get like a tri-bush ward for maybe like the counter gank, and then by that time like Graves was ready to come down and gank for us. Um, we could have had like the wave in a good position to expose them for a gank.
Yep. That sounds absolutely perfect from me. The other thing that kind of jumps out to me about this trade is if this was higher elo, the only reason why they would trade level 6 onto, because they too are level 5 and Senna's level 6. The only reason why they would trade onto Senna here is if Zach's preparing a gank right now.
Yeah.
So the right move for you actually is to actually just kite back and play towards this side if she's trading
Okay.
so heavily.
Yeah.
That's something just to keep in mind. That's the next step after.
I
But yeah,
do have a question,
yeah.
not about support, but like, so right here where Senna is at, and this is something that I like told Graves like to just like frankly to stop doing, is where Corky's at right now. Um, he used to sit on that wall a lot, even though we were on blue side. Like if we had like lane pressure and everything, he would sit on that wall. And I
Right.
noticed a lot of my ADCs do that. Like they don't maybe not sitting on that wall where Corky's at for some reason. Like a lot of them sit on that wall, but they sit closer to river. Now, am I losing my mind, or is that like a just like a bad habit because they're closer to the gank?
It's a very bad habit.
Okay, so that's just a bad. Okay, I didn't know if there was like a if that's like strategy or whatnot, but because like we like in this situation we clearly have um a bush priority. Like there's like Nami's not going to sit in bush against an engaged support in the first place, or typically, but second off, like we have like priority on it. Like she's not been going in there at all, and
Hmm.
against a Zac, like she's like setting herself up for the enemy Zac to engage. So that like it always confuses me why they do that. I never understand it, but I'm glad I'm not losing my mind on that.
Yeah, I mean, they just need to sort themselves out and know how to play around pockets.
Hmm.
You've heard
Okay.
of the term pockets, right?
Um, in what context?
If the wave is here, you've got north pocket and south pocket, or top and bot pocket.
No, I've never heard that.
You play according to them based off of who has better bush priority and whether the jungle has good ganking throughout these two areas.
Okay.
So if the opposite jungle has a very good gank path, then you play bot pocket as an ADC and usually let them soak up all the pressure and kind of just chill.
Okay. Okay.
If you have the priority as support, then it's often really good to just play for bush priority as an engaged champion.
Yeah. I think my ignite killed there.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. It's a good kill. But that's level 5 to level 6 to you, so they should not have engaged that at all. They should have just traded and be happy with what they had.
Yeah. It's a weird training relationship with a Senna ADC and um a Nami support.
Mm. Absolutely.
Because Senna can outtrade some ADCs pretty well, like do a lot of damage, but then like with a Nami, like it's really weird. It's hard to calculate, Depends
Yeah,
on level really and itemization.
pretty much. Um, I just noticed something. Do you know what this blue dot signifies?
Um,
I've never seen that before.
no, I don't. I don't know what that is. I'm surprised you caught that. I didn't even see it.
It just feels so out of place. I thought it was like a Senna passive or something, but no.
Does it go away? Maybe it was. Maybe hold on. Maybe my eclipse when that ends.
Is it
Oh
when you're
yeah, it's
W?
when my yeah when my W is active apparently.
Oh, that's a very weird tooltip.
Yeah, I wonder if that is active. I love that we've replayed me taking that caster minion like 4 times now. It makes me feel more like a piece of shit for taking it. Um, uh, yeah, that's really. I wonder if like you get like a Janna shield or something if that pops up.
Maybe.
Yeah, so like right there, like she didn't have flash, and she was sitting on that wall.
Yeah,
So it was like, you know, I definitely questioned that in the moment. I was like, you should have been playing towards the bushes because I could have defended at least a little bit, and she could have, thrown out an E and then W'd, and we would have probably both gotten away a little bit safer when Zach couldn't target us or Nami couldn't target us without a bubble.
yeah. I also wouldn't have flash there, considering you were probably most likely dead either way.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I definitely. I don't know. In the audio, do you remember me mentioning that? Like I wasted my flash.
I think it did. Now that you mention it,
This is me uh, fixing something on my chair, repositioning.
right?
He wants Sork boots, I think here.
Very good idea to ward, and we pop that. Good. This is one of my favorite spots where we have the advantage over the enemy, and we can make a play from Hex Flash. So if you stand
Okay.
over the wall right here, you can Hex Flash over and ult the enemies who are standing right by over there.
Okay.
That's a legal play. It's absolutely disgusting. No one expects it, and you get a kill because Corky's already in half HP. And even if he doesn't, then you guys get really good pressure. And I'm pretty sure with you and Senna's damage combined, you should be able to one shot Corky.
Okay.
Good, great roam timing as well, because wave is going to crash again.
Yeah.
You could even take up position with Annie right here to look for any sort of play onto Zed.
Okay.
Great
How do
user
you feel
ward.
about
I
that
love it.
ward?
Yep,
You like that warding?
I
Okay.
love it.
That's my like one of my favorite ward spots.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he gets away here. Yeah.
I'm lucky that
I
didn't hit.
think I think this was a tilting play actually, because I think Zed re-engages onto Annie,
Yeah.
and then yeah, he's on. Yeah. No, no, no. They chase, and I think they get the kill. I
Mm,
think he does a 1-for-1.
good. I really like this. You're gonna go ham onto the Corky?
Yeah, he was really low.
Q. Oh!
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was that was rough.
Yeah. Since you're in plat, I'm gonna be a bit more um, demanding of you to track
Okay.
summoner spells.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to flashcards them. To be honest, I need to remember all the cooldowns.
You know how to do it, right?
What's that?
Time summoner spells.
Oh yeah, I just have to remember like how long, like what the cooldowns are. That's all. I just have to memorize them.
Yeah, flash
Because
is just 5 minutes. So
I have like a general idea, but like it's the practice of like, oh, you use flash, okay, 5 minutes, looking at the timer, and
yeah.
just quickly doing that in my head.
Hmm.
That's what I need to do. Because like I won't forget. It's just remembering the cooldowns
Right.
is a habit that I haven't made yet. Yeah, this
Oh
is
boy.
really weird. Yeah, if I would have saved that, it would have been a way different fight.
Yeah.
This was
So
tricky because I was just like, I wanna go back in, but I can't.
no. I'm surprised Graves actually lives this. Like his his E is just so disgusting. Actually no. Oh, he dies.
Yeah, he definitely lived for a little bit, but
One of the other things that is also pretty good to prioritize if it looks like you need it is getting Bramble before your component item unlock it.
ramble. Okay.
The reason being against a very heavy healing comp, i.e., Mordekaiser, Zac, and Nami, if you guys have any pre 20-minute fights where you guys are all 5v5 on Drake, then you will always have much more gold value out of a Bramble than your Aegis component for your Locket.
Because sometimes I feel like the null, like in this situation, like getting like the magic mantle, like it's not really like good itemization in my opinion. Like I feel like I'm wasting it a lot of the time when I go back just to buy that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised you walked into that bush and lived.
Yeah, me too.
So that's an example of like a high risk, low reward ward for yourself. Good ping to alert your jungler, and I really like your movement here to cover mid. Although walking into here right now is extremely dangerous because Zed and Zac were there.
Yeah. This was just like straight up a dumb decision.
Yeah. Now we've had to blow flash and ult just to basically disengage.
Yeah. She has no mana, so this is rough.
Yeah, that's a lot of poke.
So even in like an ability ADC matchup like that, um, you would still recommend getting Bramble.
I'd get it purely to deny Nami's heals.
Yeah, if they aggro me, that is, I guess.
Yeah, they
There you
bring
go
so much
again.
power to trades.
Okay.
For times like this, I know the tempting option might be to pink the Drake pit right here, but considering they have ranges that can clear over the wall, it's
Yeah.
better when you have Ocean Drake Soul to pink this brush and sweep this area in order to take Drake.
Okay. That was actually a question that I had.
Yeah,
And what because it changes so frequently
yeah,
with the elementals. This
nice
is a
kill.
good pick.
I
Yeah, yeah.
mean,
It's hard it's hard on Leona sometimes.
yeah.
Just-
Oh no, where's our team?
Yeah, Annie's playing around her mid farm.
Especially when Drake's up. That is not good. So this is a great game to go Knights Fell. I highly agree with that option.
Yeah, they have a lot of good engage.
Yep. One of the other things that's really good to set up with Hex Flash is Hex Flashing over this wall, then ulting or Eing over the wall to basically catch someone.
Okay. You're gonna make me run Hex Flash now. My games are gonna be atrocious.
I mean, yeah, but yeah,
I just can't.
all in moderation. Jesus Christ, you're locking them down for 50 years. Where is Senna?
I know. I was I was waiting on it. I was waiting on just one ability.
Oh, imagine if we had Bramble here. You probably would have killed them a lot
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah, Zach wouldn't have been able to do anything.
Okay. The outcome was good. The way in which you played it could have been better.
Okay.
In that the lockdown, it's a very oops. The extended fight started here. As soon as you reach this area, chances are Nami's going to be out of your reach. So redirecting your focus onto Corki should have been the priority here.
Uh you
So
just
Senna can
left the
catch up.
call and then came back.
And then once you have this, I would use my E to lock up Corki and finish the kill first.
You there?
Yeah? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you left the call and then came back.
Oh. Oh. That is bizarre. I do not know what happened.
I don't know either. That I've never seen that happen before.
Weird. Let me share my screen again. Okay, are we back?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Um,
The priority
well,
for here was to lock down Corki with your abilities, in my opinion.
okay,
Because
yeah.
Senna won't be able to make that engage unless she had ult.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about the positioning at that moment. I think I just got really greedy for that.
You wanted the blue buff.
Yeah, I guess I did. Um, I
But
have
yeah,
this I do have this weird thing about leaving alive like a healer during a team fight. Um, it's just it's such a bad habit of mine because I just want to get them out of the way, you know,
right.
because they'll sustain the tanks throughout the fight, and like a healer with a tank, like that's such an annoying composition to have to deal with.
I completely agree.
And then he loses this here because he got that honey fruit.
It's like the biggest duel of the century.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't even get him. Tragic.
No, it doesn't. It's unfortunate.
Okay, maybe one more habit for you to try adjust is to start buying one control ward only instead of two every single time.
Okay.
That way you can be a bit more conscious of when you use that control ward and why you're using it.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Fair
sure
enough.
you'll be able to find really good spots of where you can defend and where you can play from, basically. Um, cool. I'm looking for a really solid ult here onto the enemies. But you see how locked camera kind of is a bane to you here, because you can see
Yeah.
what was happening all throughout this.
Yeah. Limiting. Very limiting.
Mm-hmm. The good thing about Leona's ult, it's literally 2 screens away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by
Well,
kind of just fixing a lock screen, you're already kind of limiting yourself in playing Leona.
yeah, it's even more fucked up.
What?
Support like jungle main, so like I can only climb to plat as jungle if I'm being honest. Support it's way too difficult. Um, but my jungle main is actually Zac,
Oh right.
and
So
so
how?
I can play off lock screen
Yeah,
like so easily as Zac. Yeah, I should have locked down Corki here.
yeah,
But when I'm on support, I don't know why it happens, but like I just get lazy because I'm not like practice at it yet. But
right. I see. It's a
but yeah,
it's a habit to break.
yeah, I already talked with Graves about it. I was like, dude, we've got to, because we both have that bad habit.
Mm,
I was like, we've got to play off a lock screen, man,
yeah,
and we'll be doing that tonight. I think just be playing all night without lock screen on.
good, good. Oh, get the small ones. Get the small ones. Okay.
This is where he got
All right, instantly. Where are we? What are we doing now? What can we do?
um personally, I would like to set up vision for drag, and get a ward on Baron. But I think probably just setting up vision for drag would be a way better play.
Good.
Um, I do know that they're gonna overplay here though. Um, but again, I think talking about like, is it worth it? Like at what cost? I'm low health and lowish mana, so like I'm pretty limited to an extended fight, even if we do have Herald. So I think I don't remember what I do, but ideally looking at it, go get go get drag vision.
Perfect. I want to see you move for Drake instantly. Let the Rift Herald do its thing and charge for tier 2, and backping your own teammates from overextending.
Okay.
If they can't see the macro movement, you're gonna be the dad. You're gonna be saying, "Hey, back off, kids, come to
Back
Drake."
off, kids. Back off, kids. That's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no you're not gonna get tier 2. Well, you are gonna get tier 2, but chances are your third charge is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Because they're just gonna kill the Rift Herald, and if they overextend,
I
actually they
think
get
I
the third charge. Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
actually
I think
perfect. You're backpinging
I
them.
did
Yeah,
I did say I'm pretty sure I said let's um let's walk this in.
yeah,
And this was a situation where I was looking at Baron, and I do believe that Graves was just like, no, let's like look at Drake. And I was thinking like if we were doing Baron, let's take Zach's resources on his way here.
yeah.
So his literal only play, the only way he could get any gold to do anything efficient would be to take his jungle, and I wanted to strip that from him, but no, he was right on the play being here.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to pull this out, but and wasting all that time, we no longer had that opportunity really. If he takes it,
Tempting to steal that scuttle crab as well,
yeah. Yeah, it's I gotta that's like my worst habit. I gotta fix that.
Yeah,
Doesn't happen on anybody else, but my like my heart engaged supports. Like it's really weird.
right.
Like Lulu, Janna, Nami, like never happens.
I think this was one of the games where you built oh, what was
Redemption.
that item? We'll see actually. Um but Senna scales so well into this late game and she just becomes a monster.
Yeah. I love how Senna scales, honestly. I like her play style as an ADC, but it's like a really weird, like early to mid game.
Yeah.
I tend to get shit like most Senna ADCs tend to shit on me though, because they just happen to be way better. Bit of an overplay here, I think.
I think that was a good look. However,
I'm
one thing that support mains have trouble dealing with is seeing where their team's position are and thinking if it's a good engage or not.
okay.
I think this play shows it especially well. Um, in that first, your team are kind of all spread over the map right here,
Yeah.
and if we're unable to see that, and you're looking for the ult, you have to do a check in your brain first and say, "Is my team ready to fight?" Um,
Okay. Which was not the case here.
yeah, this was not the case. It's an example of a good pick, but you don't have the follow up for it.
Right.
So I'd rather you be a bit more patient with your picks and maybe say you work your way around this side and maybe like go to the banana brush and make a play off there, make a collapse, make a pick, that kind of idea.
Okay.
By the way, walking into Fog of War like this as a Zac main, you probably are thinking, I just want to jump in right now.
Yeah.
Oh, case in
Yeah.
point.
Yep. This is like a really good opportunity for Zach, just
Yeah.
because exactly what you said, um, having like you can see they're on top of a controls, and then like Senna and then me just being right there trying to like be the glue that sticks us all together and zoning everybody off from something like this. So he definitely made a good play.
So I'm gonna give you a little framework to how to work off of in mid to late game. Think of it as a flowchart, if you will. It works off of three things: vision, picks, objectives. So first,
Okay.
you need to provide vision around a certain area before you can walk in, making picks off of the vision you see. Remember how I told you to check both where your team is relative to
Yeah.
the enemy's team as well. So you need to keep all those variables into play. And
Okay.
finally, once you have a number advantage or a pick, you can then take objectives.
Yeah. So it like really just look mid to late game, look for kills before taking objectives.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Your vision should also be centered around the objective that's spawning. So if Baron's up, if Drake is spawning in a minute, then I want your vision set up to be already there 90 seconds before.
Okay.
That kind of deal.
Yeah. And then go back, reset the wards, and then come back with fresh
Yeah,
everything.
perfect.
How do you feel about Abyssal on Leona?
Too expensive.
Okay. What would
If you
you
want an MR option, then you've got the choice Force of Nature. Um,
is that cheaper? It looks like it's a little bit
nope,
more
it's actually
expensive.
not. I lied. Uh,
Yeah, because those are the only two other than like gargoyles, but gargoyles is so much money.
yeah,
How about how do like maybe Anathena's and just put it onto the AP threat?
sounds like a good plan to me. The HP component is good. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how
Okay.
I'd probably. I don't really buy MR now that I think of it.
Yeah, and the recommended build path, it's pretty much just armor. Like if you look at it, like yeah, it's like they recommend Zeke's, Locket, Knights, um yeah, those are like the first three items, and typically like that's where the game's gonna last, right? Is
Yeah,
like
because
that.
our gold income is so bad as supports.
Yeah, and like honestly, like what like I'm thinking like going forward, because I did look into this, like, or like at least I was thinking about it pretty heavily last night, is
Mm,
like I tend to like look for an AP, or sorry, an MR item,
right.
but with if you have double armor runes, or like armor and then health runes, and then you run, if there's like if there's an AP threat somewhere on the map that you're gonna be worried about, you can run Merc Treads into like the full locket, and then that will even out. You'll have a lot of armor and then a lot of MR plus the tenacity with all of that with all that itemization, and then like you can just run like a health item at that point, so you can run like the Anathenas or like the Redemption or the Knight's Vow, anything like that to keep your like team alive.
Hmm.
And then you have evened out resistances right there. So um, that's what I was just kind of thinking. Is that like good thinking, or is that a better way to like look at that?
As far as I'm aware, no. I think that's perfect thinking. Um,
Okay,
I'll let
that's
you
what I'm
know if
trying
that
to.
changes though.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm just trying to think like, honestly, I'm trying to think like a coach, somebody that like um has like an in-depth understanding of it and like can
Mm,
like change my play style depending on the matchups because like I do want to be diamond. Like that's I've been playing the game since season 4. Like not like, I've been playing ranked seriously since like season 6, season 7.
right.
Um and I've been hard stuck, and so I'm just not trying to stay in that mentality any longer.
Yeah. Itemization will get you some of the way there, but the best way is to make good mid game decisions.
Yeah. And I think we just reset for Baron here, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep. One of the other concepts I also want to introduce to you is spoils of war. So, after you manage to wipe or kind of kill the majority of the enemies and they've backed off, you can use that temporary pressure to work on that flowchart that we talk about. The vision picks objectives. Um,
Yeah.
if we can get vision around the enemy jungle, then we can use that information to create our picks and then take objectives.
Okay.
That Corky
This.
just suicided.
Yeah, this was uh that right there ended the game.
Yeah,
Him like I think he was just tilted. I'm pretty sure him and his team were fighting. And then
yeah, I'd be.
Zach had no follow up here. He went way too far in though, so that's expected.
Yeah, perfect.
Then we just Baron an end here.
The
Yeah,
Mao.
they just that was just trickling.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that term, trickling?
Trickling.
Yeah. I learned it from Overwatch.
No, I'm not aware of it. What does it mean?
So it means when like one like so say like one person engages like they did there, like Corky engaged, and then he died, and then another person engaged, they died. Nami could have gone in that example, but she didn't. But then Zed went in and died. That's what it's called, trickling. Like it's just
Uh,
one after the other. And
right.
like like Graves knows it because like I've used it so much, but there was just a lot of people that didn't, don't like um, know what that means when I say that.
I like that a lot. Trickling. Yeah, I might. You have taught me a new term. I'm gonna start using it now too.
Yeah, that I only learned it from Overwatch whenever I tried to play that. I got
Oh.
pretty far in there, but
Hmm.
League is way better game in my opinion.
In this scenario, where we have the option to purchase something right here, it's probably better
Uh-huh.
to have the Thornmill component,
Yeah.
or to get yourself a stopwatch.
Okay.
Either of those would be good. I think it'd be better to get the Thornmill component because you can get a elixir of iron after that as well, providing you good tenacity and good stats for the final team fight that's about to happen.
Okay. Yeah, early pots is definitely a weird conversation to have with some people. You can see how I was scrambling. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Randuin's Omen.
I ran Thornmail for a really long time, and it just I don't know. I think it just felt a little bit weird.
Or, I mean, you can take Bramble. Don't upgrade it all the way to Thornmill because it's not gold efficient for you.
Yeah.
The only reason why you actually need Bramble is for its passive, previous.
Yeah.
Can he do it? Can he do it? Oh, I think that's in. Yeah. How did that happen? Take a look at that again. How did Graves find himself so deep over there? Oh, is this what you meant by like his
Overplay.
overcommitting? Yeah, overplaying.
Yeah, when he gets strong, he tends to think that he can do anything and everything in the game.
I see. You guys are ending top though. So now that they're back, I'd probably just back off a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of a mini throw there.
A little bit. I think we should have gotten together a lot sooner and, formulated a plan.
Yeah. And I think you guys just end the game off with this fight.
Yeah, it's over with now.
Good.
You could see that their mental was falling apart entirely.
Yeah. So give me. Yeah, why don't you give me the game recap this time? What have you taken away from this game, especially?
Um, this one positioning, I think, was the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Especially against a Zach and um a Zach and a Nami, because Nami can zone pretty well with her ulti. Um, not risking too much for warding. Um, and Usually I'm pretty good about this, but understanding like what objective is going to be priority, like what we're going to push for, and be better about warding around that objective.
Mm-hmm.
About minute and a half to like minute 45 before it comes up,
Yep.
and then go back and refill everything, and then fight for the objective.
Good.
I think that was some of my bigger takeaways.
Just to add on to the thing about the vision, we can also have our spoils of war after we win a team fight, um,
Yes.
and have that vision to build upon to get our picks. So that
Yeah.
kind of seamless transition. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Would you happen to have more than one monitor?
Sorry, hold on one sec.
Sure.